real business owner.
Whatever your situation is currently is not your forever situation.
That's really what real business owners is, man. Like, we don't care where you come from, where are you going?
Our goal and our job is to reduce the mistakes that you have to make or the money that you have to lose.
You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be successful, don't give up.
You learn, adjust, and continue to move forward. Welcome back to the Real Business Owners Podcast. This is episode 96 with myself, Trevor Cowley. As always, Kilo G.
What's up, everybody?
Guys, you just got us two today. We don't have a guest. But we did want to talk about, hiring. It seems like a lot of people are struggling with, how do I hire a good salespeople, or how do I hire just good employees in general, right?
I've seen it in our DMs. I've seen it just a lot on the groups that we're in. People are struggling in this area, and we struggle in this area too. But we have figured some shit out over the years.
And obviously, when it comes to hiring, there's no really magic way to do it where it's foolproof and the person that you hire is going to work out, right? In some cases, you just got to give them a shot.
Yeah.
But when you give people a shot to work for you, I think it's a good idea to let them know when you're interviewing them or speaking with them that how you operate is you do like a probation period. Yes, Kale, I'll give you a chance to work here.
Yeah.
But what we do is we'll do a 30-day review and just make sure that you're a good fit long term. And this is what we start you out at, which isn't the most money in the whole world. But on your 30-day review, if you're doing a great job, then you get bumped up to this amount, right? You're kind of, not wanting to waste money on somebody that's going to waste your money, right? In terms of hiring somebody at a higher wage, and then in 30 days or 2 months they don't work out. You spent all that time and money training them,
right?
So usually we pay a little bit less for that first 30 days to make them prove their worth,
right?
So that we could give them that bump that they need, and it also lets them know that it's not a guaranteed job. They are being analyzed, they are being watched, and we'll see how they perform and evaluate that, which is
important because people do regress, right? So you want to see what their best foot forward looks like. And when they're on a probation period, they really want that job, and they want to stick around, be a part of this company, this culture, whatever. Like, they're going to put their best foot forward that first 30 days. You're going to see what type of effort they really put into it. And then when they get the job, and we all hit those points in our job where there's like, a little bit of like regression, right? Or you can tell they're not putting their best foot forward, but like, man, I saw what you were doing in your first 30 days. So we got to get that person back.
Set the bar
Otherwise,
high
we're going to have to reevaluate this. You get somebody that's like not putting in that much effort, even though they know they're trying to earn the job still, that person's got to go a little bit quicker, right? Like, there's that saying where it's like hire slow, fire fast, right? Like, I don't know if I agree with that 100%, right? Like, but it is true. If you can see in the first 30 days, like, dude, this person's not even really putting forward the effort that aligns with our core values. Like, see you later, man. I can get somebody else in the position.
We've done it before.
A lot.
I don't even remember that girl's name that we hired over here in this department. Moved her to the front desk. And she couldn't comprehend a whole lot. Like, no disrespect or anything. I'm not gonna say her name, but and I don't remember it. Usually that's what happens if somebody only works here for 30 days or 45 days. Like, we're not gonna remember their name. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of employees over the last. 15 years, me, the last 10 years, right?
I remember that Michael kid. I had a hard time firing him, but he'd always talk about how great he was. And then I was like, what are you even doing? But I kept him around for way too long.
Michael.
He kept on telling me, like, dude, I get this, man. Like, I'm a smart motherfucker, dude. Like, I got this. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see it, dude.
He's selling me really good.
He was so confident. It was when I was in JD's office, and he was right over in this hallway, and, like, he just never would complete anything. I kept him around for way too long. I actually fired him, Trev. Like, I didn't, like, because, I suck at that.
That's your first one. You're like, it's just not working. It's not you, it's me. I just can't have you around, like making it all awkward. Yeah, I mean, firing people's not for everybody, dude. Like that, it's not fun for 100% of people, you know. But and I think it makes it a little bit easier to do that if you set the expectation in the interview that this is more of a probation period, that we will be doing a review.
I think it helps with the
and
core
letting
values
them know.
too.
Yeah,
because you can always go back to core values and be like, look, man, we went over this when we hired you.
Yeah.
These are our 5 main core values.
Yeah.
You're missing on 2 of them, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's just unacceptable. It's just, our culture's not a right fit for you.
Yeah. If you can't follow X, 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 and X, then what you guys need to realize is when you let somebody underperform in your organization, you're setting a standard for underperforming, and you're letting other people know in your organization that it's okay to underperform and your job is not on the line, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is, again, setting that expectation from day one, doing a 30-day review. Hopefully they're performing at whatever their peak is.
Right.
Again, being new, you know, their peak should continue to increase as they get more familiar with your systems or processes or whatever your business is, right? But if they're not able to perform at their peak in that first 30 days, when they know that they're kind of being watched and that their job depends on it, what makes you think that they're going to perform when they get past that period and their job is no longer really, you know, being analyzed every 30 days, right? They'll probably, you know, take a break and take it easy or whatever it is. And so setting an expectation from day one, I think it makes it easier on that day 30 to say, hey, it's just not a good fit. This is what we talked about when, you know, when I interviewed you, that we're going to have this review. This is where you're slacking. And even with Homegirl that we had Andrew, you know, say see you later to.
Yeah.
When we did her 30-day review, what happened prior to that, it was like week 2 or week 3.
Yeah.
And she got called in and said, hey, here's some things that you're missing.
Yeah.
You know, let's clean these up before your 30-day review. Instead of just 30-day review, gone, see you later. Yes, she had all the opportunities.
Yeah.
Here's where we're seeing that you're lacking and that you need to step up. And that was like on week 2. So she had like a couple weeks to perform, right? And see if she was able to take that feedback and actually implement it.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. So we're not, you know, like Kale said, quick to fire. That's just really kind of not our thing. So what we usually try to do is shift people around. Like we're like, okay, they can't perform well in this department, but where else could we put this person and give them an opportunity to still be in our organization, right? And so, you know, we'll take an individual, you know, move them to the front desk and say, okay, you know, answer emails, answer phones, you know, let's not put too much, you know, weight on that individual. And so we'll shift people around and try to give them a second chance of continuing to work for us.
Yeah.
But in some cases it just doesn't work out in general.
Yeah, you got to want it to work for people, you know, truly. So we're willing to make those shifts and give a couple chances. But, you know, the two big things I've noticed with the best people that we've got in our organization, and we've got some great ones, been around with us for a long time, and still to this day, they live and breathe our core values. But the things that I've noticed is, one, they weren't out of work when they came to work for us. You know, like literally on a Craigslist ad, I got Andrew to respond to, which is a whole nother topic we can talk about, writing your ads. But Andrew responds to this ad because he sees my ad on Craigslist. It basically says, hey man, we got a badass accounting firm. If you want to be a part of a badass accounting firm and you're a badass, like hit us up because we want cool people in our culture. You never see an ad like that for an accounting firm.
Never.
So this dude that comes from an accounting background, he's moved here from Philly. He's got a job working in a construction yard. He's like he's just a hard worker. He's just trying to, you know, feed his kid till he finds something that's a better fit. He sees this ad, he comes in, and he wasn't out of work, but he was looking for something better that had more potential for growth.
That's a responsible person.
Exactly. And he took our core values super, super serious. Like when we went over our core values with him, he was like, bought into those from day one. Like we didn't even have to have a warning on a 30-day review. Bob's the same way. Tyler, Kaysen worked at a different sales company. We met him at the gym and the dude comes to work for him. We pulled him from a different sales company because we had a better opportunity for him.
Yeah.
So we're not pulling a lot of people. We've had great people come in that were out of work, but like a lot of our best people were out of work. And somebody said that to me not too long ago. They're like, man, you want great people? The great people aren't out of work. They're working for somebody else. You got to go get them.
Yeah, you got to recruit. Right? I think that they've talked about that in Arate before. Like, all the great ones are already out there working for somebody else. So you're going to have to, put your big boy pants on and actually go out there and recruit if you want like good A players or, B players or whatever, right? High level players.
Yeah.
And so if they come in and, I hate resumes. I hate resumes really, really bad. The only thing that I look for on a resume is how often they jump from job to job. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't look at really anything. Like, I don't care about your education or this unless it's obviously for like an accounting position.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of sales, I don't really care, but I do want to see if there's a pattern. And anytime that I've interviewed somebody that's like, they have like 3 jobs every year. Yeah. They work like 6 months, quit, and then it's like 4 months, quit, and they're just jumping around. That's a huge red flag because it's like, look, the longest job that you've had on your resume is like 8 months or 1 year. Like, what's going to make this different?
Why are you dumb enough to put that on your resume?
Yeah. Like,
dude, it looks like you have a job every 4 months. Why are you
extended? I ain't going to call nobody. You just say you worked at one place.
Two longest, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Give me your highlights, dude.
Yeah, you're not going to be called, dude.
This dude would send in his lowlights of football to try to get recruited to a college, like that doesn't make any sense. But again, that's the only thing that I look out when it comes to resume. And for the most part, when we interview people, we just like to see if they're a good fit.
Yeah.
And what we have to say is, because we do have a loose environment where, we swear quite a bit or just, have a good time. We want everybody to be themselves in this environment, and we're not going to change our environment to try to fit around one person that's just a stiffy, right? And just, like that's not the environment that we want. And so that's one thing that we say, like, hey, this is a pretty loose environment. We like to have fun. We want you to be who you are, when you're in these walls. But at the same time, we want everybody else to be who they are. And there's a bunch of different personalities, and some might not match up well. But we need to make sure that one, you're okay with swearing, or you don't get offended, or this, that, the other. Like, it's tough when you've got 40, 50 different personalities. Not 100% of people are going to like 100% of people. And our job is to do the best that we can to try to make sure everybody gels well.
Right.
But that's a difficult thing to do when you have that many bodies, right? So, that's kind of a little bit how we go about hiring people. Like Kale said, he just writes an ad that's completely different than what the normal ad would be to really stand out, so that we're attracting like-minded type people, right?
Like, I mean, dude, honestly, like, we've gotten some great people from places like Indeed, and we've gotten some great people from Craigslist, and there are different demographics on these different platforms. You know what I mean? Like, dude, sometimes people from Craigslist are a little rougher, man. Like, it's weird. I don't know. There's like these, but there's great people in there.
Yeah.
And man, it's really been true in the fact that, like, somebody that's relocating because of some life circumstances could probably be a great person, but somebody that's just out of work, scouring Indeed and Craigslist and, some help wanted site, like, they're out of work for a reason.
Yeah.
They're out of work a lot of times for a reason, I should say. Not always. A lot of times there are circumstances they just need to get back on their feet, but they're great people. And so the best way to determine that really quick, man, is to have some core values within your company that you really set the expectations on. And like Trev said, do that probationary period to help weed some of those people out. Because the bottom line is, to get 10 great people in your organization, you're probably gonna have to go through 100, man.
Yeah.
Like
no
you
doubt.
said, there's literally, and that's probably been about the math, especially building sales teams, because not everyone can hack sales. Not everyone can hack telemarketing. Not everyone can hack door-to-door knocking. Like, there's different types of sales, and not everybody can hack all different styles. And so, man, sometimes you get a great sales guy in, but he just can't do the phone thing. He's better face to face. Like he needs to go sell cars, or whatever the case may be.
And we've had people like that just prefer the face to face thing, right? They can't, they don't feel good being cooped up, so to speak, in an office, right? Some people have the personality where that's just not them. Other people can handle it. You know, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but don't get frustrated. Just continue to look.
Yeah.
Right? Like
and go get.
And go get. You have to continue to look. Like if you're trying to build and scale something, keep the ones that are good and cycle out the ones that aren't good and continue to hire. And you might hire 5, you find that one good one. Again, keep that one. Get rid of the other 4. Continue to hire. There is some sort of weird ratio probably for every industry. Sales, maybe you have to go through 5 people to get one good one, or 10 people to get one good one. Right. Maybe plumbers, maybe framers, maybe real estate. I mean, there's accountants, right? Yeah. Like no matter what, there's going to be some sort of ratio that you're going to have to go through X amount of people in order to find the quality ones, right? It's not like there's a reason why average is average, right? And it's the majority of people. So now everybody's chasing the top 5% of the workforce, right? And what makes your company attract the top 5% if you're just like every other plumbing company or every other, real estate company or framing company or accounting firm? Like, what are you doing to make you stand out so that you're attracting those type of individuals into your organization? Right. If you're just a normal accounting firm and you're not doing anything special, you're not treating your employees right, and it doesn't take much. We do the country club membership things where they can go golf, go swim, go eat whenever they would like. That's a cool little perk. The break room's a cool little perk. And the environment that it's loose and relaxed is a pretty cool perk. And we give them a lot of freedom in terms of creating their own schedule for the most part, right? If it gets out of hand, then, we've got to jump in and say, hey, you're taking advantage of this a little too much. But for the most part, we got great people that'll just say, hey, I'm going to take this Friday off or whatever. And it's, again, creating an environment like that where you get the opportunity to attract great employees and keep great employees versus, some other company that keeps stealing yours, right? We're talking about recruiting. Maybe you're the company that's getting all your good people. Well, look at our credit repair company. There's a local company in town.
They shouldn't even be looking, dude. Like if we've got people looking, that's on us.
That's on us.
If there's great people looking at us, that's on whoever they work for, right? And people will feel that. That's why culture and core values are so huge. Because when you bring someone in to interview and you like them and you give them that tour of the company afterwards, they're gonna put their best foot forward in that 30-day trial period. They're going to want to stick around long term because they're not happy where they're at, and they feel it instantly when they come in where they're at currently talking to you, right? And so those are huge things. But
how much turnover did we used to have versus what we have today?
Oh my gosh, man!
You see what I'm saying? Like the difference in terms of turnover. Like
we basically started as just a telemarketing company, and so and now it's evolved, and we still have phone sales as a big part of our company. But there's so many different departments now. But dude, that's always been a really high turnover. If any call center, anyone listening to this, it's a call center. They know what we're talking about. Anyone that worked in a call center, they know what we're talking about. Like, dude. It's a different breed of individuals, right?
It's called the revolving door because there's always new faces every single week working for the company. And it's like, why? Because you're always looking for great salespeople, but a lot of people want the money that sales can provide, but they just can't hack the time, the effort, the energy that a sales job takes in order to be successful at it, right? Like everybody can read a script or whatever, and communicate from human to human, but not everybody can deliver the exact same message that a top sales rep can deliver in terms of their presentation, right? And it's pretty frustrating to be in sales and watch somebody perform at a high level and you're not. Right. That's like, sales is either the best job in the world or the worst, depending on the week that you're having, right? Like it's the biggest roller coaster ride that anybody can ride. outside of entrepreneurship or an actual roller coaster. But
dude, it's just like real estate agents. How many freaking real estate agents, everyone can sell in the greatest market of all time, but when shit dips off, who sticks around?
Yeah, exactly.
It just turns into a revolving door after that, right? Like, it's tough, man. Sales is a tough gig, and no matter how great people are, like we're saying, hey, you got to go get people because the best people aren't out of work, right? But you still got to build people too, even when you get them, just because you have a better foundation by doing that, but you still got to build them. And sometimes there's great people that they just need to be built, like we were talking about before we started, like, man, it's amazing how many people, like I put a Facebook post out. It's like, listen, this is a 6-figure gig. Okay. Our culture is amazing.
Yeah.
We're not just going to hire anybody in this position. Okay. If you want to be in a 6-figure gig with part of a great team, an evolved team that you're going to get a ton of benefits from, hit me up. Yeah. I thought I was going to blow up on this Facebook post because like I get hit up all the time. Like, dude, I want to work for you. I heard you guys make great money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say crickets because I got some people hit me up. In fact, some of them seemed pretty good when it came down to like, oh man, I don't know, man. My insurance thing's doing pretty good. Like, I think I just need to write that out, dude. Okay, man, cool. Then why did you even hit me up on the ad, right? Or why did you hit me up on the post? But then I talked to Trev and I'm like, dude, it's so weird, man. Like this legit is a 6-figure opportunity. Every single one of our salespeople is in that department's doing 6 figures plus, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell are we not getting great people respond to this post in our local area? They all know. Like, I get hit up all the time in our community about coming to work for this specific department, and nobody is, like, taking it serious on my Facebook post. What the hell? And Trev says to me, he says, man, you know what's crazy? If you put that same position out on Indeed or Craigslist and you say it's $15 an hour starting, you're going to get blown the fuck up. So what did we do? We put an ad out for $15 an hour. We get blown the fuck up on everybody wanting to come and work for $15 an hour. Now that's great because there are some great people that just have never been at that 6-figure level that we're going to have to build. And I think that's probably what we ended up hiring is somebody that we're going to have to build up to that 6-figure guy.
Well, again,
or gal.
Shout out to Kat. Shout out to Kat over there.
We got some good sales gals.
She's a killer. It's just funny that some of you guys listening, might not own a business yet or anything like that, but you have internal bias about yourself in terms of what your worth is or whatever. And if you see an opportunity to make 6 figures, you project your internal bias like, well, that's got to be hard, or that's not for me. Like I'm not qualified for that. You start selling yourself things and to talk yourself out of shooting for something greater than what you're currently dealing with, right? Or your current situation. And so it's just mind blowing to me. When Kale said he wasn't getting any hits on that, I was just like, watch, people know that they're worth $15 an hour, and they'll be like, that's not intimidating, but maybe I make 12 or 13 or 14, so that's an increase of a small margin to where they feel as though that they're not stretching themselves too much outside of their worth.
They think they're underqualified.
And it's super frustrating because I know that there's probably a ton of great salespeople that haven't had the opportunity to make 6 figures yet, and they might be seeing that and again projecting their internal bias just because they've never made 6 figures. Maybe they made 40 grand or 50 grand, but in their mind they have to be something that they're not,
right,
in order to have that type of opportunity. Right. And again, that's just them selling them something to talk themselves out of ever giving themselves the opportunity to move forward and get that opportunity.
That's so powerful for business owners listening to this, man, because like we forget that.
Yeah.
We hit these different levels in our sales careers, to our business owner careers, to our operator careers, like whatever, right? And we forget that. But like somebody invested into us, right? Somebody gave us a shot, or we finally just took the leap and jumped into a commission job. And I had a team leader that invested into helping me get to that next level.
I couldn't believe the money that was being made.
Yeah.
When Bo, that I went to high school with, when I was hanging out with him landscaping, he's like, bro, there's people making like $1,500 a week, $2,000 a week, $3,000 a week
on the regular.
And I was like, as a landscaper making like $8 to $9 an hour, and you guys need to understand this is a while back, right? This is when I was like 18, 19, so that's almost 20 years ago. So, you know, minimum wage was like $5 or whatever, right? So, you know, $8-9 an hour was, you know, not what it is today, right? But it didn't make sense that I would show up to work and work hard every single day for $8 to $9 an hour, right? And I'm sitting there making like $320 or $350 per week. And he's talking about somebody making 5 to 10 times that every single week. And I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like it seemed unbelievable, too good to be true type situation, right? And so now that we're talking about it and I'm reflecting back on when I was first pitched the opportunity to have a 6-figure opportunity type job, sales job, I glitched out mentally. But again, I was 19, I was young, and I didn't do good in school. I was a stoner, all this stuff. And so it was just like, there's no way I'm smart enough and qualified enough to make $1,500 to $3,000 in a week. It's just that just doesn't exist for guys like me, right? And so now that we're talking about it, I remember that being me, projecting my internal bias on a situation, and then finally I reconciled the thought of like, fuck it, I'll just try it because I can always come back to landscaping. Somebody's always going to need somebody at $8 an hour or $9 an hour to carry the sod or dig the trenches or put in the sprinklers, all that shit, right?
Dude, so same for me. You know?
It's hard to wrap your mind around that from our background.
I had to see it to believe it, right? So when I walked in the first sales room and I saw the board and then I understood what the commissions were, I was like, and I love money, you love money. Like you got to find those people, especially if you're hiring for sales. You got to get those people that are like, they love money, right? I love money so much, I was willing to go park my butt right next to the team leader, Doug, and listen to his sales pitch, figure out how he does it. What can I do better to make sure he's closing more deals? You had the same thing with Robert Cameron. Like these people invested into us because they knew we loved money. They knew that we were there because we wanted better. And so if you're building a sales team, it's important for you guys to like really understand this, right? Like understand that like somebody invested into you to get you to where you're at, right? We just don't come out of the womb evolved. Right? So you're going to have to build people. You're going to have to build people up. And sometimes, putting an ad out for a 6-figure position is just not going to attract the right guy for you. Putting an ad out for $15 an hour, finding that kid or that dude or that gal that's like just loves money and wants to grow, you're going to have to build and mold that person. And then, obviously you're not trying to mold them into a sales manager out of the gate. You got to go get those people. They are in work. They are working for someone else like Kaysen. And, we had to go get that person. And so, I don't know what that was, but
it was a computer. No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
It didn't bother me one bit.
But I think it's important for people to know that, man, when you're hiring sales teams. I've been seeing that a lot, man, in our business groups, just on Facebook. Like we go through it constantly. Like people are like, I see that question so much. Like, how do you get great people in your company to do sales? Like, it's so hard for people. And it's like, dude, you got to build them. You got to create them. And you got to go get them from the right places. And
the probation office, NA. What else do we say?
Fremont Street. That's Vegas, guys.
Go to places where nobody else will hire. Why? Because they have zero opportunity. And if you give them one, they better hold on to that shit tight. Dude. Because nobody else is going to give them the opportunity that you're going to give them in terms of, being able to make money. So
you're not really going to find good people on Fremont Street. But I have been sold some shit on Fremont Street I did not want.
Exactly. So they've got skill. I mean, they might be hopped up on something, and need more of that something. So they're being persistent and going to get that sell from Kale out in Vegas. But when it comes to hiring, it's not easy, guys. Like we hear people complain all the time. Just can't find good workers. And so what happens is you put yourself in a situation where you continue to take on more and more and more and more, and then eventually you get burned out. And you just you can't deal with it anymore. And so be okay going through 4 or 5, like create that as an expectation. So when somebody doesn't work out, you just don't get as frustrated. Right? Just understand it's part of the process of building something great. Like, how many employees do you think Amazon had to go through, or Andy Firstform or whatever, right? Like, any big, large organization has had to go through a ton of employees to find all the great ones that they currently have, or they've done what we talked about, recruited from other large companies and said, come operate our company as CEO for more dollars, right? And so you have to analyze, one, the opportunity that you're giving them, the environment that you're putting them in, because again, what makes an A player want to play for your team, right? Create a culture and environment that's fun, that where they want to work, where it doesn't sometimes feel like work, right? And be okay with, playing the numbers game and falling short over and over and over in order to build the team. And it is a waste of money, because if you're paying 4 different people that all don't work for the month or two, but it's just like it's an investment. It's just like an investment. How many times are we just throwing money in? We lose. Oh, that one worked.
Yeah.
It's just a process of elimination, and it's no different with employees.
I think I'm to the point where there's never not going to be an area in your company where you're not losing money. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Like you invest to find the right people.
Yeah.
You invest in your culture, not knowing what you're going to get back out of it 100% out of the gate. You invest into your core values and trying to make sure that you're getting people to really live those, and all the people that are in the organization, so when new people come in, they live those, is because it's the example around them. And like, man, you invest in a lot of these things blindly,
and also maybe try to figure out how much your competitors are paying their employees. Why don't you understand that it's okay to pay a little bit more for quality?
But how many people have we paid less? I can't, dude. A lot of people have taken pay cuts to work here because they like the environment.
But over time,
they end up making more for sure.
They end up making more.
And we set that expectation. We're like, listen, you're gonna make more if you make it here.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's happened multiple times.
Right.
I've got a few examples in my head right now, but again, for hiring, we use mainly right now, Indeed has been really good for us.
Yeah.
We did work off of only Craigslist way back in the day.
Yeah, I still put ads on there that it has to. I mean, it's definitely different.
Super hit and miss.
It is
super hit and miss, right? Because there are people that are on Craigslist that are ready for a change.
Yeah.
But they don't want to pay to be on Indeed.
And Facebook sucks. Like, it just posting out on your wall. Like, dude, we've gotten people that way, but then you always get those weird ones that are like your cousin.
Yeah. Like, yo, bro. Yeah. I've been wanting to work with you forever. They try and guilt trip you. And you're just like, fuck, this is the one person. This is the one person I didn't want to see this post. Literally, I was thinking about not making the post because I was thinking of this person commenting on the post.
Every time.
Every single time, boom, coming in.
Yeah. I've had to block people because I'm like, I don't even want to freaking hear one more guilt trip about why will you give me a shot? Because you're family, man.
Yeah.
We don't do that. But then we hire from family. And they get pissed again.
Because I know you, bro. I don't even need to see your resume. I've seen your life. Like, we don't need it.
It's so true.
That's so just what it comes down to. But, we hope this episode was beneficial to you.
Yeah.
I mean, hiring's not a easy thing to do. It's a, definitely a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And, managing people. That's why it's so important to hire and go through the process of elimination to find the great players to help make your life easier. So maybe they can start doing the hiring and the training and the process of elimination and take that off of your hands. But you're going to have to go through that yourself at first for a period of time in order to find the great ones that can do that for you.
And dude, I mean, to highlight a couple things before we end, like, we're doing less and less of the hiring now. Like, our team is stepping up and hiring because they know our culture, they know our environment, and it's like we're either the last interview or we're not even involved anymore. And it's like, that's kind of, what you're doing right now in your business. Like, you're doing you're wearing all the hats, you're trying to build your team, but eventually, as long as you continue to invest into like yourself, your culture, your environment, like, people are going to step up and take this off your plate, and they're going to get great people in your organization. And that's how you start getting to these next levels. But right now, while it is you doing it all, like, you're gonna want to get the right people. Write your ads like they're you.
Yeah.
Like don't try and sound all super professional. Like, dude, we're an accounting firm. Like, I've made that mistake where I try and sound like an accounting firm. But we don't want accounting firm people here.
We are a professional firm specializing in No, it's like, you want to fucking work here? Are you badass?
Every time I was writing ads, Back in the day, I was writing ads like looking for that super smart accountant dude that wears a tie and he's all stuffy, and we get those people in. They never lasted.
Yeah, what happened?
Then we get badass accountants in when we just start sounding like us and wanting the right people, a part of our environment, and they come in. They're badasses. They're smart, but they're not that stuffy weirdo.
Originally, you had an internal bias of a picture of a person.
What accounting
that you were
supposed to look like?
Yeah, like the system, like that's a Toyota Camry. Everybody knows what it looks like. You're like, that's a CPA. They all need to look the exact same. Right. Like they're just duplicates, right?
Right.
Like a model of a vehicle. Like you're an accountant. You're a sales guy. Like they all look the same, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
And again, as Kale said, anytime we've hired somebody that was a little bit older, and we've brought them into a younger culture or environment, they haven't worked out as well as some of these young hustlers that we have. That's just the truth.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying that there's not great older accountants or CPAs that are still crushing it and hustle hard. I'm not saying that at all. They exist. Yeah. But they exist at other accounting firms because they're so great that they already have a job somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
That type of situation. We've actually grew some of our CPAs from them working for us for the last 8-9 years. The entire time they were going through school, they worked for us, right? Yeah. And so that's homegrown shit, right? Yeah. So and we found a couple good ones outside of that as well through hiring.
Man. So you want to get great people. Go to the gym. Be a loudmouth like Trev, man. That's what attracted Kaysen to us. You know, he's like, I got to see what this guy's all about, right? Yeah. But same thing with even like in our groups, man. Like how many people is Stuman hired within the group? Like your people are a part of your network, right?
Yeah,
like your people, your employees are a part of your network. And so get out and network, man. Be a part of different events and groups, and you'll find great people that are looking for your opportunity. You know, you need to get out and write ads like you, not like what you think that they're supposed to be. Like,
bullshit.
So if you're not getting people to even interview, you need to get out and network, and you need to get out and write ads that are like you, and you need to be authentic and real, and you need to establish core values. You need to invest in your environment if you want to attract the right people. And so, man, people that are struggling to even get people to come in and interview, think about that stuff. And then people that are trying to keep people, like, dude, first of all, you're not gonna be able to keep them all. Second of all, like, again, you got to have the right environment. You got to have a vision for these people. Got to have a vision. They got to share your vision. You know, they got to be bought in. They got to be invested to stick around long term. You know, you want them to go to the next level. Give them the opportunity to go to the next level. Yeah. You know, quit being a cheap ass.
Well, we've done it. We're like, hey, you're managing this department, okay? Well, we're gonna put somebody else in, and we'll go through a process of elimination, just putting people in charge of different areas. And if that doesn't work, it doesn't work. And doesn't mean that they get a drop in pay, but they get an opportunity, a probation period, so to speak, to manage a department to see how well they do.
Right.
And then if it's taken away from them, it's not that big of a deal, and they don't take it as a gut punch because their pay didn't get reduced.
Right.
It's not it was, hey, let's see if you're a good fit.
Right.
Try to operate this. So
I agree.
There's ways to do it that makes your life a little bit easier, but ease, comfort, that doesn't exist when you're talking about hiring, firing, finding great people.
I totally agree, man.
It will be an uncomfortable process to build a company where you got 40, 50, 100 employees.
Exactly. So hopefully there's some nuggets in there for some people. I know. I mean, dude, we're just being real. Like, shit that's worked for us, shit that hasn't worked for us, and I know it's a problem for a lot of people. So I know there's some nuggets in there, but
you guys make sure that you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes so that we can move up the ranks. We found that out yesterday. We don't know a whole lot about this podcast game. We just come out in here and sit down and just start talking. And
then we meet these podcast experts. They're like, no, you need to do more episodes, and you need to do this, and they need to subscribe, and they need to.
You do twice a week, and if they subscribe and do reviews, and it's like, cool, man, we're doing all right.
Like we knew the review thing, like we know reviews help in some way. We don't know how, but they help. So do those.
Do
too.
all that. Yeah, do the subscribe, do the review.
Turn the bell on.
Turn the bell on.
That's YouTube, or that's also. It's also iTunes, right? You can
turn on all your notifications across every platform.
Hook us up, man. We'll hook you up. I promise.
Louise. So we're begging you, we're trying to move up in this world. of iTunes rankings. I don't even know where we're ranked, to be quite honest with you, but it would be good to move up either way.
Yeah.
You know, so we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and just follow through with the homework assignment that we just gave you. Other than that, guys, take care. Have a kick-ass day.
Peace out.